I believe that currently we have only about 20% of hospitals and about 10% of physicians that are making meaningful use, as you've described it, of electronic medical records. Is it your belief we would not see any significant increase in that number without the significant investment that we made through the Economic Recovery Act to help the healthcare providers adapt to this new system, both with some financial incentives and with the general encouragement in this area?
Congressman, I believe we would see very modest continued expansion of the use of electronic health records for the simple reason that the economic benefits of using it accrue to payers predominantly, and the cost accrues to providers,
right,
who don't benefit economically, in fact incur substantial costs. So I think it was an essential correction of a market failure to make these incentives available.
I believe the goal in another 9 years is to have 95 to 100% of the hospitals meaningfully using these records, and at least 70% of the physicians. Is that the goal that you're striving toward, Mr. Trinkle?
That was what we laid out in the impact analysis based on the research we've done. However, there are a number of areas that could impact that and create a better scenario. I think, as David mentioned a moment ago, the incentives program itself, but also the infrastructure that we're building with the support that was provided in the legislation will enable us to get to higher goals with both the infrastructure and with the outreach and work we're doing with the community over the next number of years.
So you set out that goal 9 years hence. You're hoping that this will work well enough that you can achieve that goal sooner than that?
If possible, absolutely, recognizing obviously there's a great variation between providers and communities, but our goal is to certainly reach that goal sooner if possible, and if at all possible, recalibrate and look at some of the things that aren't working as well and changing them as we go through the future stages.
Actually, it's that recalibration that I wanted to ask you about. Will you have then some interim goals that you set up, and you'll be back to the committee and making adjustments internally if you see you're not achieving those interim objectives?
Absolutely. We one of the reasons we designed this meaningful use process as having multiple stages is so that we could set a particular bar at stage 1 and then learn from that, set another bar at stage 2, and then another bar at stage 3. We know the bars are going to go up, but how high we wanted to set them will depend to some degree on what we learn from doctors, hospitals, and patients around the United States as they try to fulfill the ambition that the Congress laid out, which is to have every patient benefit from an electronic health record.
Do you have an estimate of where we'll be this time next year?
Our goal is, as we said before, is to make every American benefit from an electronic health record. And I think it would be, we don't really know in the first year exactly what's going to happen. I think in 4 or 5 years we'll be close to that. But I wouldn't want to speculate about what's going to happen 12 months from now.
While there are many benefits to what you're doing with electronic medical records, one of the concerns that I had as the legislation was originally considered here that you've heard a lot about is privacy. Could you highlight some of the steps that you've taken to protect patient privacy rights with reference to electronic health records?
Sure, Congressman. That's a very critical point, and we know that privacy and security of patients' personal health information is absolutely foundational to our success, and we are acutely aware of it in everything we do. We hired, as you instructed us under the law, we hired a chief privacy officer for the first time in the history of the department. She's giving us invaluable advice. The Office of Civil Rights about 2 weeks ago issued the first notice of proposed rulemaking to implement the increased privacy and security requirements that were contained in the HITECH law. We've also used our Health Information Technology Policy Committee to give us advice and to give us suggestions about additional guidance that we may want to give to doctors, hospitals, and they have and patients. And we have a tiger team of privacy experts working on recommendations that we can share with doctors, with our regional extension centers, with the states. And then finally, we've been working with the cybersecurity czar at the White House on how to improve the security of electronic health systems in the United States.
Anything you want to add, Mr. Trinkle?
No, the only thing I'd add is that these providers also are covered entities under HIPAA and are subject to the privacy rule under HIPAA and the security rule as well. And we will make sure as we move towards future stages of meaningful use that we ensure that privacy and security are part of the meaningful use criteria as we have in stage one. That will just continue to tighten that as time goes on. One of the other areas as well is in the certification requirements. ONC has made sure that functionality is built in, that we have these checks so we can ensure that security and privacy are paramount in the EHRs.
Thank you very much.